Claude Code has a feature that quietly changes of how you use Claude. It can run your task on a schedule by itself, even when you're away from your desk. It turns your Claude Code to an employee that works for you even when you are not around the desk. But here is the catch. There are two ways of how you can make your Claude to work on a schedule. And it's a bit confusing, and that's entirely what this video is about. The first one is scheduled task, and the second one is loop. And almost everyone confuses them, including me. I was confused the very first time I heard about loop. I was like, how is it different from scheduling tasks? This sounds very much similar. Hi, I'm Achut. I'm a performance marketer. I work as a lead strategist for a company called Flying Me Group. It's a marketing agency based out of California. On this channel, I build AI agents that's particularly for marketing purposes, and I share what actually works, so you can skip months of trial and error. This video is for you if you're someone who's trying to build AI agents and you keep hearing about loops and scheduled tasks and it confuses you. Or you want Claude Code to work for you, handling your routine tasks like checking emails, daily reports, and monitoring without babysitting it. Or you have set something up just like a scheduled task, but it's not working and you don't know why it's not working. By the end of this video, you will know exactly when to use loop versus scheduled task, live demo to turn a simple skill to a daily automated task, and every little tricks that nobody's talking about. Every nuances like fresh session, 3-day expiry, and how to get notified when a task is finished. So let's settle this loop versus scheduled task confusion forever, and let's begin this video. Now let's understand what is the difference between scheduled task and agent loops. And I'll be using Claude Code for this. So what is exactly is scheduled task? It's a prompt on a timer. It runs on a clock. It could run weekly. It could be, you can run it on a daily basis at this particular time. Whatever task that you're assigning, it can run at exactly that time. Let's say on Friday, 7 a.m., you could assign a task to collect a weekly report of the performance of your campaigns and stuff like that. Or on a daily basis, you can say that you need to go through my email and find out my unread messages, find out the emails which are priority for me and I need to respond to. Those kind of scheduling you can be done using scheduled task. And it's always a fresh start each run, which means that basically it does not hold a memory. Like whatever happened yesterday, it does not remember today's task. It starts from very fresh and it does not recall whatever happened in the past. Each session has its own memory. That's it. And it follows the same set of steps every single. Usually scheduled tasks are done using script or TypeScript, where it's more of a deterministic. But with scheduled task, which is available in Claude Code, it is more agentic, which means that it can interpret it in such a way that if it does not fulfill your desired result, if it does not give you the desired result, it can work on it and get you the end goal. So how does the scheduled task works? So first of all, the cron fires, which means that at Friday 7 a.m., this gets fired, a new session begins, and it has access to all the tools that you have given access to it, all the connectors, let's say email, web browsing, access to Slack, ClickUp, all of that. So it runs those tools and finds out what exactly it needs and whatever is needed, whatever tools it has access and whatever is needed for it to accomplish your goal, it completes the task using those tools and runs it and closes it. And these are the features of scheduled tasks. That is, it will only work when your laptop is on. Let's say that you have a task which is for 7 a.m. and you wake up at 8 a.m. The moment you open your laptop, it will start working on the task which was pending. It catches up all the last 7 days tasks, right? Let's say that even if you are opening your laptop after 7 days, you have not opened your laptop for let's say 7 days and you open it, it goes through its scheduled task and finds out that, okay, I have these tasks which are incomplete, let me go through it. And it completes your task. And it's a fresh run with no memory, as I just mentioned before. Persists daily and weekly. You can schedule tasks on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. For example, for my daily task, I don't open my email anymore. I have scheduled it over here where I ask every day morning. The moment I open my laptop, it gives me the set of emails that I need to respond to, the priority emails. It goes through the Slack messages, ClickUp tasks, which are assigned to me. And it gives me an entire list of the tasks which I need to work on. So it saves a lot of time for me going through all the ClickUp, Slack channel, email, could be anything. So it does that on my behalf. And all I need to do is work on those list of tasks which it has given me. So this is Claude Code. And within Claude Code, you will see on the left-hand side, you will see routines. And if you click on routines, this is where you can schedule tasks in Claude Code. Click on new routine on top and you could either connect to your GitHub or you can store your projects in the local itself. I'll go for local. Name your task. Let me try to create a task whose job is to go through my emails the first thing in the morning, let's say in the 7 a.m. every morning, and give me emails that I need to respond to and list down all the emails that I need to respond to, and also based on the priority or any information that I should be aware of in relation to the teams that I manage, any task that I should be knowing about, or any information from my clients. All of that needs to be shown or be shown to me every day at 7 a.m. So I just made that schedule. If you just check here, the description is daily 7 a.m. digest priority, unread Gmail from the last 24 hours, grouped into needs reply. Check my Gmail for 100 emails received in the last 24 hours. Surface prioritize emails. It will go through my emails and find out the emails from my clients and colleagues, emails which I'm CC'd to, any email that is from real person that and requires my attention. Whereas it will ignore anything which are like newsletters, marketing emails, automated notification, and all that stuff. I'll be receiving it at every day at 7 a.m. I just also want to show you that I did not create it like a manual process by clicking new routine and clicking on local and doing this stuff. Instead, I asked everything to Claude Code and it created on my behalf. So this is the instruction that I gave and it ended up creating it. Yeah. So initially started with cron job. The cron job, the problem is it expires after 7 days when the moment the session ends. But if you make it into an schedule skill, there's a separate skill called schedule skill. If you use that, then it will be like a continuous scheduled task which will be triggered every day at morning. Let me explain the difference between these two of using cron create and scheduling tools, because these two are completely different, not entirely different. Serves a purpose. It's mostly about the period when each of them is useful. So here is the use case of both of them. Here's the difference between cron job and scheduled task. These are completely different. This cron job is for like particular session. It will work for just one session. The moment you close your laptop or you close your Claude, it dies. It's just session specific. Whereas scheduled task is persistent. It will be there for every single day. So the first thing when I did for the first time, Claude used cron create to create a cron job, which is session specific. If I would have closed the Claude, then it would have ended right there. And if I don't close my Claude, then it will expire after 7 days. So it has an auto expiry date of 7 days. And here, scheduled task runs indefinitely with no expiration. And the cron job works inside our current chat session, whereas scheduled task is cloud-based and it runs independently. And the cron job is good for temporary tasks. Let's say I have something temporarily going on for short period of time. Let's say I'm expecting an email from one of my client in the next 3 hours and I need to check the email every 10 minutes. So you can do it for that kind of work where like for the next 3 hours, cron job can check your email for every 10 minutes. On the scheduled task, it's more of like a permanent daily routine. Every day morning, I need to go through my emails, my Slack message, click up. I can get this done through scheduling task. Or if I have to go through an update about AI updates that's happening all around Twitter or any news channel, it can do that job for me. It can browse web, find out new updates about AI and give it to me every single day in a brief. So these are the differences between cron job and scheduling task. Both have its own purpose, sounds very much similar, but they are different. Now here comes the agent loop part. So what does this, how is it different from the scheduling task? Think act repeat. And this is somewhat very close to what happened in our first prompt, the cron create part. There were two parts, right? One is cron create, another part was the scheduling task. And this is what cron create is all about. The agent loop, the cron create, the cron list, cron delete are tools which are part of agentic loop. So for example, we have a prompt and agent thinks about it, it uses the tools and it repeats it. And it happens in a loop until we get the final result or until we get our. So what happens in a loop is it tries to fix the failing test. Like let's say that there are 3 fails. It finds that there's a bug and it tries to fix it. And once it passes all the tests, it gives you the final result, which is a good. In simple terms, so this part where we are using cron create, there is some similar tools like cron list and cron delete, which are part of agentic loop. And within the agentic loop, which works within a session and keeps the memory for 3 days and it expires after 3 days. And you use loop when you're doing something or something you need a repetitive task for right now. Let's say similar to what we said previously, you wanted to get reminded of an important email which is likely to come from your client within the next 3 hours. So at that time you keep loop, whereas scheduled task is the like desktop app only and it runs every day or weekly without any memory. and it runs forever. So that is agent loop, and this is scheduled task. Now, if something needs to be now, then you use a loop. And if there is something that you need every day or weekly, you use scheduled task. And while you're doing this, you need to keep a guardrails. Guardrails is like the boundary that you set, because without boundary, and this is one of those simple use cases that I'm explaining, but when you're trying to build some complicated use cases where the agent needs to run again and again doing some long stuff, at that time you need to do the guardrails. Guardrails basically means that you need to tell the agent that you can try it for like 3 times or 5 times and don't go beyond it. Or you can keep a budget for each of your trial. Let's say that you can spend up to a daily spend of $3 or $2. Or you can even say that if you don't get the desired results after attempting for this many times, then you should stop. And the second part is you should be asking the AI to show you the draft before sending or before executing, right? You don't want it to act on your behalf. You don't want it to reply to your client on your behalf. You can ask it to draft an email response for your client, and you can read it, and then you can click on the send button. That's what you want to do. You don't want it to give the entire authority to respond to the client from your behalf, because that's could be dangerous. You don't know what will happen. So these are some guardrails that you need to keep in mind when you're doing this agentic loop or scheduled task. Quick recap: scheduled task runs forever. Scheduled task runs on clock. Just like an alarm, it has fresh session and it persists forever. Perfect for daily and weekly routines. A loop, on the other hand, runs for one session, keeps its memory, and expires after 3 days. Perfect for anything which needs to be done right now and includes right now monitoring something. So if something for now, then it's loop, and if something that's you need every day or weekly, then it's scheduled tasks. So the simple rule is, if you need help for a project right now, then use loop. Need help for something which is daily or weekly, then you need to use scheduled tasks. That's the whole decision that you have to make. Here is how you need to start today. 1. Pick something which is boring and recurring task that you need to do every single day. Second step is wrap it into a scheduled task with a file so that it gets little smarter after every single. 3. Add a hook so you get pinged every time if the task is done, like a bell when a task is completed. And that's your first AI employee. Simple and very helpful. And that thing is something that people get wrong, but moving forward, you won't be getting it wrong. If this is something that you enjoyed watching, then please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. If you have done this and want to know how to do some little advanced stuff, then I suggest that you watch this video of how to make an AI agent and how to make it work. And tell me in the comments what exactly did you scheduled after watching this video. If you have not tried it yet, please try it and tell me in the comments what are you gonna try, and I will help you.